Jesus is standing in the way of the power of your gratitude really being fulfilled, right? You are misplacing your gratitude. You give all of the gratitude to the blood of Jesus and his sacrifice, but our ancestors spilled their blood, sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their pride, sacrificed their dignity, and endured not only for our sake, but for the sake of your children. They had us in mind, right? And they don't get any acknowledgement. You don't acknowledge your own blood that was sacrificed. You acknowledge the sacrifice of this man. They called on him. He didn't show up. He gets all the glory. You should be glorifying your ancestors. It's literally your blood. It's in your genetic code. You might wake something up because you'll not only be glorifying yourself, you'll be glorifying the people who are the reason you're here in the first place. And I think that's one of the issues that we don't talk about as it pertains to Christianity. We get into a lot of the bag of whether he exists or not. He exists, he doesn't. Yeshua, whatever. You know, he's acknowledged as a prophet. I respect that, right? He's in Islam, he's acknowledged as a prophet. But the overarching image of Jesus in the Christian religion is of him on the cross, the sacrifice he made, the blood he shed. Huh? But what about the blood that our ancestors shed here on this land for us? For this country? Inventing in spite of, building cities, operating in the free market. Huh? The free market was good until it was a thriving black community, then they interrupted it. They was all about the free market until that happened. Shout out to Deja Sade for that. The blood you should be praising is literally coursing through your veins. It was the blood. Huh? You're taking a shot of it every month, once a month. When the last time you venerated your ancestors? When the last time you acknowledged their presence or the sacrifice that they made just to have you here? You might wake something up. That's real DNA. It's blood spilled out here right now that got your DNA in it. And we don't acknowledge it. We allow, so niggas call him a middleman to God, so I gotta get Jesus out the way to get to God. Right? That's what they say, right? They call him a middleman, right? That's some of the issue that people have. They feel like Jesus stands in the way of God. Why I got to talk to you? I could just go straight to the source. You could go straight to the source. The source is in you already. It's been in you your whole life. So if we want to get into a middleman conversation, you just go inward.
So this black man Danchika is being dragged on social media for saying Jesus Christ is on blocking your way. Let's talk about it. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's the girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So that video you just saw now was a video of that creator talking about how Jesus Christ is standing on the way. And you guys let me know what you guys think about it. What are your thoughts about this? This has gotten the entire internet raveling, especially the Christian TikTok has gotten a lot of them talking and all that. So in this video, we're going to hear some Christian TikTok own perspective about what he said and if they agree with what he said. And then we're going to get people's reaction to Christians, Christian TikTok and Dante's take on why Black people should start worshiping their ancestors rather than worshiping Jesus, and that Jesus Christ is on their way. I personally, there are some of the things Dante said that I agree with. There are some of them that I'm like, whether I would like it or not, there was a lot of havoc that was done with the name of religion, the name of Christianity. And to think that Black people puts it on a huge pedestal, it's like, okay, it's something that we need to study. Because I feel like when it comes to religion and as Black people, especially Christianity, we don't want to sit down to have the conversation. But anyway, guys, let's go check out some of this Christian steak and people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Let me tell y'all something. That Deante Kyle young man on the Chicken and Grits or Eggs and Grits podcast, he gonna lead y'all straight to the ancestors that are burning in hell right now, demons. Let me tell y'all something. Remember when my channel first started popping off? Not this one, my big one that they took, because I talked about Israel. When that started to get, I started getting a lot more followers. Baby, I was approached by the wicked ones in my sleep 3 nights in a row. And I told y'all that story about the demon that was, wanting to make a deal with me, and it had the candles lit on my a candelabra on my nightstand. And in order for me to agree with it, I would have had to light the last candle. I said, no. But 3 nights in a row. Do y'all really think that other influencers on here, just because they're not Hollywood or celebrities, you think they're not getting approached too? They absolutely are. And with Deante Kyle, he been doing this. Why do you think he been into that ancestor worship? Y'all just didn't know it. Why do you think all of a sudden he boom explode out of nowhere? What he did was he got black folks hyped up over being black and white people being jacked up. He ain't said nothing that all of us ain't already know or say a million times over. He's not doing anything special, nothing. But all of a sudden he come out of nowhere, boom, explode. Why do you think that is? And the moment he got y'all hooked in with the being black, I'm black and I'm proud, and white people are toe up, and okay. Soon as he did that, what he say? Jesus is standing in your way. Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that came from? What does that have to do? Do you see what I'm saying? So, Hollywood is over. Hollywood been dead. Hollywood is over. It's gone. So, the enemy's he not going to do nothing but just move industries. Okay, Hollywood's over. Social media is it. Let me get to these influencers. He been working on them. When you see some people on here that ain't doing nothing special, yet they get trillions of followers, likes or whatever, what do you think that they've done? And they're getting paid and paid and paid. Just because they don't talk about what they've done don't mean they didn't do it. You think that's for nothing? You think that's just, it's just so much talent. They're not doing nothing special or different. When you really step back and look at it like, wait, they're really not doing anything different or special. How did that happen? Yeah, they made that deal just like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and, all the Hollywood. They made the deal. This is why you must be careful with who you listen to online. Even me. I'm not saying don't listen to me, but you have to be careful. Everybody online that's black ain't good. Everybody ain't one of us. That's all I'm going to say.
Christianity is like a microchip that's been implanted in the brains of black people, because the way black people were all riding with Deante Kyle, and then as soon as he said what he said about Jesus being in the way, it's almost like they all just stopped and were like, Jesus is king. He is not in the way. It's like brainwash. It was so weird. Christianity is rooted in Judaism. It's also structured by Roman structures, Greek mythology, paganism, and it's rooted in patriarchy. That should tell you something right there. It's like black people don't realize how brainwashed they are, and that it's true that Christianity was literally beaten into our DNA. It was literally forced onto us. And since then, black people just cannot let it go. It's like cognitive dissonance. Like when someone speaks against it, they cannot hear anything different outside of the fact that it's right. So that cognitive dissonance kicks in. And when they're hearing logical, rational conversation surrounding the roots of Christianity and the background of it and where it stems from and its ultimate goal, it's like they can't have two conflicting thoughts. And when those two conflicting thoughts start to happen, they start to haywire. That's essentially what's happening. You're seeing Christians haywire. Black Christians are going haywire due to the thought of somebody having a conflicting thought about something they've believed in all their life. All of their life, for generations and generations. And it's so much deeper than that. Deities, it's the belief that there are different deities and different gods to believe in. I even seen this one girl who was like, oh, well, how do you know? What if you die and you find out Christianity is the right religion and now you're going to suffer? What if you die and you found out that Buddhism is the right religion? I mean, you never know. Like, you really never know. You might be... You don't ever know. Someone even said, why are we implementing intellectualism into Christianity? That's something that shouldn't even... That should let y'all know right there. They don't want to use their brain. They don't want to invoke real thought. When they don't want anybody to provoke thought into them when it comes to that religion, because they know the more they start thinking and the more questions they ask, the less sense this shit makes. I'm telling you. They rather be led. They rather be sheep. So let them be sheep.
Deante Kyle is the Antichrist because 80% of black Christians are functionally illiterate. Y'all know I've been waiting on this one. 80% of black Christians are functionally illiterate. And I think it's so funny because the main people quoting the Bible are the main people that can't read it. Y'all can read to identify words on the paper, but you cannot read to comprehend. You can read and understand that that word says that, but you don't know what that means. And so y'all are online talking about, oh, venerating your ancestor sounds like possession because they told y'all to tap into the blood that's coursing through your veins. You see, ancestor veneration is not just about putting your ancestors on an altar. Sometimes it's picking up the prophecy. It's continuing the work. Some of them need you to pursue the missions that they didn't get to finish, and they need you to be the vessel. And y'all like, that sounds like possession. Mind you, you're okay with the pastor of the church praying over you, the mother of the church throwing a sheet over you because you're slain in the spirit, and the spirit is your trauma. Go to therapy. And what gets me is the most intelligent black people within our community are not in the church. Y'all thought Deante Kyle was intelligent up until he started pointing out your own idiotic ideologies. When he starts showing y'all the flaws in y'all way of thinking, now y'all like, oh no, you're taking it too far. If you can't recognize that Christ was circumstantial for our ancestors to cope, you were not paying attention to what was actually going on during slavery. You do not understand the sacrifices that they've made in order for your stupid ass to be here. When y'all think about the fact that our ancestors had their spiritual practices and their spiritual beliefs beat out of them, y'all never go back and wonder, what was it? Y'all think that the only people that were filled with the blood of Christ and the love of God were the white people that came and stole us from the land in which we were on and sold us off on various islands and parts of this motherfucking country and tormented us, turned us into fucking furniture, ate us. These were the only ones that God had chosen to give his way of thinking to. And these are the people that he chose to instill it upon us. To be fair, in the same sentiment, our ancestors' blood coursing through our veins just allows us to identify who is who. And I know exactly who you are. Because the ones that are about it always come back and they're always about it. And the ones that are bitches can't get that bitch out their blood.
Black Christians' reaction to Deante Kyle's clip that's been going around recently is further proof that Black Christians are mentally stuck and intellectually stuck in slavery. They just never got emancipated mentally. Body's free, mind is still under lock and key due to Christianity and white supremacy. And I really hate that there's a real focus on suburban black folks because, like, it's easy. And they rightfully so, they should be targeted. They should be having conversations about them. You know what I'm saying? But we're missing a whole demographic of folks that can fall prey to white supremacy and the alt-right pipeline, bruh. And the more that we... And this intellectual prison doesn't discriminate based on, like, class, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I feel like a lot of people try to make it seem like black suburban folks are more susceptible to falling into the alt-right pipeline than, like, poor black folks that live in, like, the hood, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it makes sense when you look at it from a distance because, like, they're away from from black folks and they're around white folks more, you know what I'm saying? But, like, our alt-right pipeline has always been Christianity. It's always been the church because no matter where you go in this country, it's going to be a church somewhere. Whether you're in the hood, whether you're in, like, the suburbs, or if you're in, like, a high-class area. You know what I'm saying? There's churches everywhere, bruh. And the fact that, like, there's such a focus on the suburban black folks that we're missing a whole demographic that has fallen susceptible to white supremacy. And the fact that, like, people that look like me, my sisters, cousins, brothers, aunties, speaking, like, white supremacist talking points, Charlie Kirk talking points, bruh. It's crazy. And it's getting completely ignored because it looks like, it doesn't look like what we think white supremacy looks like. And if we really want to say something's demonic, it's demonic for a black person, man or woman, to be saying the same shit our oppressors are saying. Saying pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Saying black folks need to stop being so ghetto to get respect by white folks. To get respect from the same people that's beating us down on a constant basis. Dead in the street like a dog. That's demonic shit right there. It's demonic for you to have the oppressor speaking through you. What are you talking about?
Now, if this makes me a bad Christian, I'll have to answer for it when I get to Judgment Day, okay? But the only problem that I have with what Deante Cal said is Jesus is in the way. Drop that in, my boy. Jesus is the way. If not for Jesus making the blood sacrifice that he made, none of us would be here. In my opinion, my belief, and I'm standing firm on it, okay? But I also feel that he was right. Your ancestors, the ones that were hung, that were humiliated, hosed down, attacked by dogs, picketing, had spit on them, had their houses burned down, had their family members taken from them in the middle of the night and beat into a pulp, were praying to Jesus Christ for strength because they knew they also had to do the work. They knew that God would cover them, but they had to do their work. If faith without works is dead, what we cannot do is overlook the fact that our ancestors did their part as well in the name of Jesus Christ, praying for covering, praying for strength while they were being literally attacked just so we can have the lives that we have. They deserve honor too, not worship. I will not worship anybody but God. I will not worship anybody but our Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ. But they deserve honor. They deserve acknowledgement. And before anybody says it, if you have ever went to the grave of Big Mama, because I love her so much, and put flowers on her grave, if you have ever done a balloon release to someone that you have lost to honor their memory, if you have ever went to someone's house and seen an urn with ashes sitting on the mantelpiece, well, let's say a prayer to Granddaddy, you know, because he would love to be here. You are honoring your ancestors. Right? Right.
This conversation, I want to know what you think. What's your stand on this conversation? Please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. We're just here to have conversation. We're allowed to disagree. Please, guys, we're here to have conversation. Let's not tussle. And I do appreciate you guys on this channel. The way we talk on this channel is very mature, and we have amazing conversation. So yeah, let's just keep it this way. I know this is sensitive. Some people will get all in their feelings, but please, let's make it in a very respectful way. So if some of you guys don't know, I personally, before I say my thoughts, I don't believe in any form of religion. I believe in God. And I was raised in a Christian household all my life and all that. So if I'm saying religion, I might think it back to Christianity because that's what I knew all my life. For me personally, I don't believe in any religion, including I believe in God. I believe there's a God there, and I talk to God, and that's me personally. And I believe in spirituality and all that. I believe that when it comes to religion as a whole, is that religion, and a lot of people hasn't really taken their time to digest this. Religion was used for control. Religion at the point was more like politics that we have today. And if you do your research and know some of the early things that happened with religion, both Christian, Islam, and all that, it will make you rethink it. I forehand know some of the facts, that some of the things that was done to my kind, black people, using religion. A couple of years ago, the Pope in the Catholic Church did an open apology to Africa, to West Africa, for the role they play in transatlantic slave. Because whether we want to accept it or not, the entire transatlantic slave, the colonization of black people, West African, because I'm from West Africa, I'm from Nigeria, what they used was religion. And I would say very well that Christianity still, at least in the southern part of the east and west and southern part of Nigeria, Christianity still has a strong hold on them. And one thing I've come to realize when it comes to Christianity is that a lot of the people, including family and friends that I know, a lot of people just know what they tell them in church. They don't take their time to do research beyond what they are being told in church. And when you want to have that conversation, like I remember multiple times, a lot of Christians in Nigeria don't know that there's a thing called the Hebrew Bible. A lot of Christians in Nigeria don't believe that Israel, they just created Israel a couple of years ago. A lot of Christians in Nigeria don't believe that the Ethiopia have their own history to the birth of Jesus Christ, because they don't want to do their research. A lot of Christians in Nigeria don't know that Christianity and paganism is a blend. Because when the pagans, the Slovakian, the Vikings, they moved, and yes, a lot of Christians don't know that history. And I feel like the way religion is being portrayed and being carried and being executed is that you don't question, you don't think, you just follow. And there's this thing I always say when I talk about religion. I always say that if God does not want us to think or question things that we see and happen and do research, He won't have put a brain in our head. And I do believe, as a Black person, especially from African descent and especially from the West Africa, I believe there should be some form of, this is my own personal belief, okay? I don't believe religion. I don't believe Christianity is our religion. I believe there's God. I believe there are other ways to communicate with God than through Christianity. And I personally, I have choose not to associate myself with a religion that that is built on the patriotic system and did dirty to women and did dirty to Black women, that did evil things to Black people like my ancestors. I don't want to be part of that type of energy. So no shade to anybody that believes in Christianity. And like, I personally am of the opinion, like, this is my journey. I've come to this realization and I respect that. My mom is still heavily into Christianity. All my family members, per se, they're really my friends too. They're really into Christianity and all that. I'm going to respect people's choices and where they want to get themselves into. But for me personally, no. There's more to life than what Christianity just makes you not to think. And for me, as a very inquisitive person and somebody that wants to know, I could not be there. And it's not. And I do hope, like, rather than Christian, and because that's another thing when it comes to Christian, when you don't agree with them, when you're not a follower, when you're not just not when you are thinking rather than not thinking, they now say, "Oh, the devil is using you." In Nigeria, they will say, at that point in my life, they said something, they were using me, the devil, evil spirit was in me too. Because I was questioning everything that was around me, including social construct, religion, the patriarchy, everything. I was questioning it, and they said I was possessed. So for me, as a Black person, I would say, like, do your research, whatever religion, don't just follow blindly. If you have a brain and you can think, you can read, you can write, do your research on the things you hold on such esteem. Why so? Because a lot of the stories and all that was told in the Bible is a story told personally, and there's nobody to verify anything. So, oh, that's how it is. How did you know? How? And I get it. Some of these stories that are in the Bible, they are for real. I've seen certain places that is a symbolic thing to certain things that happen in the Bible and all that. But those stories is human. Remember when they say when a human tells the story, and the story change at the end of the day? Anyway, guys, you guys let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section. Go ahead, share your thought. Share this video and be respectful, please, guys. Let's not abuse each other. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We are banging conversation. So go ahead, feel free, share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see. And that'll be you supporting this channel and this career. So go on, do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.